how far into the DJ journey did you start dabbling in production? I'm saying that only because I can understand the desire to be able to do something or produce something that isn't necessarily your home base or comfort zone.
But if it's not your home base or comfort zone, the only way to get there is just by getting out of your comfort zone and making it. Eventually, I actually got into DJing after college. I was playing guitar and then I broke my finger and I couldn't play guitar. I felt like there was like a missing part of me, and I was like, this is the perfect time to start DJing. You can DJ with a broken finger. You can DJ with one hand, you know?
Black Coffee does.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Tomás.
Corey.
Great to see you, buddy.
So good to see you, bro.
Thanks for coming up from Miami. I know it's been a week for you up here already.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. Walk me through your week. It sounds like you and Morgan have been playing quite a bit.
Yeah, I love New York. We just get so much opportunities to see friends. There's so much good music here. There's so much to do. But Wednesday, I had a gig at Altio's Rooftop. And then Thursday, we went to go see our friends playing what's it called? Signal?
Yeah.
Yeah, so ran into y'all there. That was awesome. Friday, Morgan played at Elsewhere. I played that night at Music for a while. Saturday, she played at the Breaks and Bangers show. I went to go see my friends Super Taste, and they were having a show with their band and stuff. It was just such a good time. And then now it's Sunday, so it's kind of been a bit of a whirlwind, honestly. But it's good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. It sounds like
you
shouldn't be like any bit tired. You slept well. Rested the whole time.
I don't know about that. That's probably been the one thing that's been missing from the trip, let's say.
Any standout moments?
Seeing Morgan play Elsewhere at Rooftop was awesome.
Yeah.
And just seeing it pack out throughout the night, it was an amazing time. Getting to play one of my songs at Music for a while was awesome. Last night I was also producing with another friend as well that we have a collab together. So it's just been a good week of music, listening to music, making music, DJ music.
Yeah.
You've been sending me the new masters of our song as well, right. So I've been able to catch on to that. So it's just been a good time. So
for a little context, Tomás and I have worked on a few tracks together, and Morgan, who he keeps referencing, is
my fiance.
His fiance. That's correct. I'm glad you said that before I messed that up. But I knew that too. That's what I was totally going to say.
We're getting married in November.
Amazing.
Very much looking forward to it.
And I'm sure there won't be any DJs there at all.
Oh.
But speaking of DJing, you and I first met on a rooftop during COVID, before, things were really indoors again.
Yeah.
And that was here in New York, and you were living here in New York.
I was, yeah.
Did you learn the trade here? Did you learn it somewhere else? What's your origin story there?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. In terms of DJing, I would say I started right before I came to New York. Probably I was 6 months into DJing, let's say, when I got to New York. In terms of music as a whole, I've always been into music. I think I started playing guitar when I was 11 or 12. I was in some punk bands in high school.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I played rhythm guitar. I also had a synth, but I never really understood that well how to use it, but still had fun with it. The first time that electronic music really hit me was I went to Ultra with my older brother. I was 18, I was senior year of high school. And I remember going to see Pretty Lights.
Yeah.
And played that song Finally Moving, which it was a very good song that's in between electronic music and rock music and punk, which is has the guitars and everything. So that was really the one that caught my eye. And then after that, I remember coming home and talking to my brother, who is a DJ. He's a vinyl DJ, but he's all minimal and stuff. I was I want to start DJing. He's okay, I'll teach you eventually. But then, time ebbs and flows and goes. And eventually actually got into DJing after college because I was playing guitar and then I broke my finger and I couldn't play guitar. And I felt like there was a missing part of me. And I was this is the perfect time to start DJing. You can DJ with a broken finger. You can DJ with one hand,
Black Coffee does.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I hit up one of my friends. I was hey, do you have any DJ gear you're selling? He's I am looking to get rid of this. I got a Tractor S4. Started DJing in Atlanta, just in my room, came to New York, and that's how it kind of grew from there.
Nice. Yeah. So you would say you've technically been DJing for how many years now?
7, 8 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how far into the DJ journey did you start dabbling in production?
I started very slowly, I would say 2019, but it was really COVID that gave me the opportunity to really dive deeper into it. Everyone was just working from home. I ended up signing up for this Tool Room Academy. certificate program, which was like, I think it's like 6 p.m. London time or something, but for us it's like during the day on Thursday that you have to do it. So it was perfect during COVID because I would just put a meeting block and just have 2 hours on Thursdays where work didn't know that I was basically just working on this music stuff. And that course really just like helped put together a lot of things that I was missing at the time in terms of like production knowledge, kind of like filled in the gaps. That I would say was the time that I maybe got a little bit more serious. Prior to that, it was really just working with friends and like getting mentors and getting help that way. Even just what I was speaking about yesterday, I went to go see my friend's band Super Taste. The bassist on that, his name is Lucas. He used to go by Slugfather. He's the first person that like taught me how to produce, like just putting samples down and sidechaining the kick to the bass and just making something out of nothing. And then just kind of growing that journey. I think what does happen though over time is, your personal life, you have things that come up. I went away and I was abroad for a year in grad school, and that made it really hard to make music, right? Yeah. But then you kind of come back into it, and every single time I have more time that I can dedicate to it, I find myself like happier. And, like that feeling of finishing a song when we're working on stuff, and I'm like, Corey, this sounds so good, I'm gonna send it to you. And I'm like just like waiting for that response. It gives you such energy, and you play it out to people, and it's just such a good feeling. So it's something that I know that regardless of how I take my musical journey in terms of more like the professional artist career versus, actually having a real career on the side, because I think it's really hard to make money in music. It's something that I want to do like forever, and make it a part of me forever.
Yeah. I want to go back to what you were talking about when you send me music, but before we do that, how would you describe where you're at right now in terms of your music journey? You mentioned, your career, other life things. So it sounds like you also work as well, right? So it's like you're not full time.
I mean, I'm actually even trying to figure out how I can balance the career more so I can make music more, and I've been like looking into that as well, but that's kind of a separate thing. But then in terms of like actually my music and my sound, I think I've gotten better, and now I'm at a point where I can produce what I want to produce. Before it was kind of you produce what you can, not what you want. Like you'll start with a reference track, but it kind of veers off. Now I'm finally at a point, like the 2 songs that we have together are awesome, but that's very different from the tech house that I make, right? And I have other songs that are like more progressive tech house. I'm really liking this like European sound now that I'm just really digging. I'm probably gonna put in the set and stuff. But I think I'm at a point now that I want to almost like do like a reset of looking at all the unreleased I have and figuring out what sound I'm gonna just go forward with and make a bunch of that track, and maybe even just do a rebrand too. But we'll kind of figure out, I don't care that much about that part as much as figuring out what is the sound that I want to make for this project.
Do you want that decision to be guided more by what you've gotten better feedback from other people, or more by what you feel like you want to do more of or make more of?
I think the latter. I don't think I've always kind of done what I want to do. I would say in music, even sometimes like there's a lot of you've been out before and you hear the DJs that DJ for other DJs. Like I'm not that much. I DJ for the crowd and the people and what I want to hear, And I don't care about if someone there's gonna have a little bit of a eye and say, oh, this guy's playing tech house when we only need the darkest Romanian minimal. I mean, like, yes, if that's the room, if you're playing, if you're going, it depends on the place, of course. I like all electronic music. When I DJ, though, I do like having fun with it. I like different grooves. I like funky grooves. I've also I forget where I read, but one of the big things that you can do to grab like a more normal crowd, you know what I mean? When because you have the people who are like the music aficionados, and then you have sometimes crowds that are like, has a little bit of both, of everyone. They always need lyrics, because vocals is the only thing I believe that it's the only instrument that all humans can play, even if they play badly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the one pretty much everyone has access to.
Everyone has access to, unless you're mute. I'm sorry for the mute people out there, but it is kind of like being able to like play to all people and being able to draw a crowd, I think is important. Even when you hear like Morgan, my fiance, plays, she is very, very big into like vocal house and stuff like that.
She is, yeah.
And her stuff is all that. Mine is definitely measured back,
Yeah.
but I like stuff that people can say, oh, do you remember that song that said like this thing?
A good hook, and that's kind of like a good hook can really literally hook people in, right? Like, and most of that is often through lyrics and especially familiarity of those lyrics, even if it's an edit of an old disco song or an old pop song even.
Yeah.
That's not to say that you would stay there the entire time, but if like you need to bring people onto the dance floor.
Exactly.
Sometimes you just have to do something like that.
Yeah, something that can really like draw the crowd in, and then you go back to whatever you're playing. Like I really like more of that minimal, like stripped down tech house as well. But sometimes you just have something to hook people together and bring it in with like a funky bass line, and you got the room back. You got people standing. You got people playing. And sometimes you also got to give the dance floor a rest too. So sometimes it's fine to not.
It's good to have a little like break song. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about, let's go back to what you were saying about, when you send a track and you get like excited to share that. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed that when you're collaborating, it's a bit more exciting, a bit more motivating than if you're just doing it on your own?
It is, yeah. I think it's also because that's kind of the thing that attracted, or how I got into it. I wasn't that much of a solo producer in the beginning. I mean, as I said, like when I started, I think the first few tracks, it was me and Lucas and Slugfather, and then working on myself on my own things and with the Toolroom Academy. But then I've done collabs with people just online that I've never met. And they're like on the West Coast, we're on the East Coast, we're sending stuff back and forth. So I think it helps me. I like sending someone a project, and then you get it back and you kind of see what they do to the project, especially when you're familiar with the project already, right? If you're just looking into someone else's random project, you're not going to see all the little tidbits. But if you're actively producing in it, you're going to see, oh, wow, that's how they tackle this problem or this funky solution that they have. You also start to see like what people are good at or what people aren't, and like how you can make your own sound or your own way to be your own producer. I do think in general with producing, it's important. It's like important to learn the rules, but then it's also very important to break them too. Like, and it's not. Sometimes you're going to be making a song, and 70% of it is going to be you're going to be following the rules of how you do stuff. But then that like 30% magic is kind of where the difference lies. You have to know what it is why it is that people do things the way they do when they produce, but also know where you can change it, right? And add that flavor.
Do you feel like having a musical background, understanding guitar or even music theory in any way is an advantage, or has it really made much of a difference? Or do you think like somebody who doesn't necessarily know an instrument can still get into DJing, get into producing even? Yeah,
to DJing for sure. I think DJing, anyone can get into DJing. I mean, to be fair, like the person at the party that just is running the Spotify on the phone is a DJ, right? Yeah. It's not really a disc jockey, but
for sure.
If you boil it down, at the end of the day, it's really track selection. That's the number one thing. So you're just not mixing in and out or adding like any funky effects. In terms of producing, I don't know music theory, funny enough. Oh, okay. In guitar, I used tabs because I was never classically trained. I took like summer guitar lessons once with my friend's brother, and I just remember just learning like a few scales, and then we would just jam out. And he was like very into like blues and stuff. He's like, okay, I'm gonna play a chord progression. I want you to like play solos in key and stuff. So it was like little stuff like that. I don't think production you need music theory though. Yeah. I think it helps over time. I think you should learn over time, like I don't know, fifths and sevenths and stuff like that, and what songs go with each other. But understanding that things have to be in key, and like just kind of play around. And some producers are good at sound design. Some producers are really good at melodies. Some producers are good at vocals or things that require out of music theory. And some stuff is super stripped back and it feels like it's almost atonal the whole time.
Right. Or genre that you like to play out. Would you say that's true both with DJing and with the sort of the direction you want to take your productions? Or where do you see your sound now and where do you see it evolving?
I think, no, that's a great question. So I think this goes back a little bit to the topic that I had said almost in the beginning, that when you start producing, you produce what you can, not exactly what you want. Yeah. And now that I feel like I'm at a point where I can start producing what I want, it's like you have to make whatever that decision is, right? And so just, talking with friends, I think there's a lot of early songs that I made that weren't that DJable, let's say. Like, yes, the arrangement was DJable, but it wouldn't be something that I would put like directly in all of my sets, right? Now I want to make sure that the songs that I'm making are things that I want to play out, things that I want to see the crowd jamming to. So I think that's kind of, and it sounds simple, right? But I think that's kind of the difference now. It's like I want to make sure that whatever this next project is something that I'm going to have a lot of fun playing out, and taking it to that direction. So
what do you think that direction's going to be?
Oh man, I am really liking this like tech house with those like funky synths. This guy Light Leak, this other guy Jackie Boom.
Okay.
Light Leak, I think he's American, but he likes like European tech house. This other dude, yeah, I think, which I don't have any songs that are like that right now, so then it's a little bad to say that I want to go towards that sound without having any songs like that. But it's really what I'm interested in now.
Yeah, and I mean that's probably going to be an ongoing evolution.
It
right?
is.
Like if you kind of stay in the same place, like music preferences, music tastes changes, it evolves.
Yeah.
So, I think it's kind of like, what's the next thing that I want to try out and see how I can make it my own flavor is sort of at least the way I've sort of approached production. Because I would say a good example of that is even the stuff that we're working on is like the first song that we collaborated on. I felt like it was in a good place, but it wouldn't be something that I would be able to play out at a club or like at a party because it just didn't have enough of that like deep groove yet. And you were able to add that in. Yeah. And that's something I want to be able to keep gearing towards more and more, is making more like dance tuable tracks rather than like, the melodic stuff is kind of my home base. And like, I feel like kind of the groove and the rhythm and kind of the low end kind of fine tuning is really your strengths, at least from what I noticed. So, it's been nice to collaborate with you on that stuff and really pick up some things from your end. But I'm saying that only because I can understand the desire to be able to do something or produce something that isn't necessarily your home base or comfort zone.
But if it's not your home base or comfort zone, the only way to get there is just by getting out of your comfort zone and making it, right? Yeah. And doing it.
It's gonna be a little sloppy, but
yeah, it might just be sloppy a little bit in the beginning, and then you'll finally get there. Yeah, I think in general, I'm very big into using reference tracks when you're starting a song. I'm also very big into abandoning a reference track once the song has found its own flavor and you're already there, and then you find a new reference track maybe for the mix down or for other things. Even like our song "Drowning in Your Love," like I think we started with a completely different reference track, and now when we were mixing down, we used other things just to figure out like how to EQ in the levels and stuff. But then by the middle of it, we're like, okay, this is like a Sunrise at Burning Man song. And so we're like, that's the reference now. Even though it's not an actual reference in the audio, the reference is now this vibe that we're creating. So I think that's something that I've started to do more into the projects, right? Like it's fine to start somewhere, but it's cool to let the project and the music kind of take you where it's telling you to go as well.
You mentioned a couple of artists that have really caught your ear lately. Can you think back to really sort of when you started this whole journey, if there were any inspirations or early influences that you always kept gravitating back towards, or was it kind of a big mix?
Compared to now, I wouldn't say gravitating back towards, but I mean, early on, I kind of liked all the more cheesy electronic music. I mean, I think like Skrillex was super great. He had that era, like right after, it was like 2015 or 2013 or something, where you'd go out and you'd hear him. And like, I've even seen videos of him explaining some of his production quality stuff, and he is just a maestro. Like, he knows exactly what he's doing.
I mean, there's a reason why he's won Grammys.
It is. And the funny thing about it too is like, when I was in high school, I used to like him because he was the lead singer of this band that I liked called From First to Last. So I knew him from there, and then I saw they started DJing and producing. I was like, oh, that's super cool. So I'd like the things, I mean, even the Pretty Lights example that I gave earlier, right? It's like different examples, but that's like super early on. That's probably, I would say, like the pre-DJ days. That was more in the getting to electronic music days. And then over time, you start gravitating towards different things that you actually like. I do think as you start DJing more, like the taste gets refined. Sure. You know what I mean?
Of course.
You start going out a little bit more, listening to other sounds, listening to other local artists. You start collabing with people or showing up to a friend's house and getting on the decks and DJing and learning stuff like that, and then finding where you really want to make your mark in it.
Is there, or was there ever a particular moment, a gig, a show, kind of a reaction to a song that you made, that you played out, that stands out to you as a moment of, okay, now I really want to keep getting booked for gigs. Now I want to keep making more music.
Right now, maybe I have like recency bias, but like even just thinking like 3 weeks ago when we were playing at TBA for like the Camp Wits Burning Man fundraiser, I had like the last set, it was like 3 to 4, and just had a blast. It was just so much fun, like taking the crowd from like this kind of like energetic tech house and like kind of bring it down. And then by the end, I was like playing stuff at like 136, 148 BPM, even was at the top, and then brought it back down, and just like going on this journey. It was super fun. At one point, I was like, I remember like looking out. I was playing my buddy Austin that I was producing with yesterday. Is this ID that he has, and I'm looking at the bartenders, and they're going like this, and they're just like vibing and dancing so hard. And I was just like, man, gives me so much energy. This was so much fun.
Yeah.
And it was like this, I don't know, 4th set I had played out like this year, and yeah, it just gave me like a lot of. Like, this is something that I'm good at and that I want to keep doing. Yeah. It gives you like energy for the rest of the week, really.
Yeah, for sure. I always love when the bartenders are vibing to the music
because they listen to music so much all the time,
yeah.
and they listen to different local DJs a lot. I mean, sometimes getting booked is more networking than how good you are. You know, no one who's actually booking has time to listen to an hour set for everyone that wants to get booked.
Yeah.
I mean, even just talking to people like in Miami, like there's this guy who's throwing like a new party series. His name's Eddie P, and he was telling me, he's like, yeah, we've gotten 1,000 mixes sent in. You mentioned 1,000 mixes that are an hour long to try to play his parties. And so he's like, just make sure when Morgan sends her mix, you text me so that I can put it at the top of the thing and actually listen to it. Because no one has time to do that. So nowadays, like, there's a big filter, I would say. I mean, of course, if you produce, people have time to listen to a 2 or 3 minute song that you have. Right. And if it has plays and it's good, and that's truly like the artistry of it, right? But if you're not there, if you're just a DJ, which is completely fine, it's harder there. You have to go out and actually meet people, and like shake hands, dap people up, and support other people. But if you're good, you'll get booked, and you'll get booked again. I mean, that TBA one, it's got me another gig.
How did you feel? How did you, Morgan, fill your calendars up so much in just the 4 days you were here?
It's just friends as well. I think.
Those are long-term investments too. Like, you built friendships with these people. It wasn't just like, hey, I'm coming in, can I play at your spot? Like, I just met you last week.
No, it's exactly
years and years of actually being a friend, not just trying to get in somewhere, right?
For sure. I mean, and there's in New York community, I would say, like the music community, although New York is big, the circles get small pretty quickly in terms of like the people who go out to those same type of parties. I think also the Burning Man community, also in the different camps, kind of creates some of that as well.
For sure.
But regardless, it's not like this massive city where it's like the crowds know each other, and it's a beautiful thing too. It's cool, but it's part of like the whole thing, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, at the end of the day, people want to support the people that they like, and that's going to help you out, and to build those friendships. I think being genuine is super important too. And maybe something that I would have done more though is like when you get to that point, feel free to reach out and actually say like, hey, do you have any availabilities? I think for me, for a long time, I was a little bit more passive. But as you grow in confidence in what you're playing, and kind of the parties that you want to play, I think it is good to just try to get out there more.
You definitely won't get what you don't ask for.
Yeah, for sure.
And that said, over time, even if you haven't stayed in touch, the relationship's still growing, through social media or through just like staying in touch or showing up at somebody's venue or show. And so it becomes easier to make the ask when you're actually contributing or giving by showing up for other people too,
it's
right?
Exactly that.
So it's like, it's not transactional. It's more of like, if you actually support or care about somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Then, it's not as hard for them to say yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it shouldn't be transactional. Like, part of it is because you want to actually because you like what they're curating, right?
Yeah,
And
totally.
you want to add to it, and you want to help out the vibe. You want to help out the community by bringing your own self. So
You mentioned something you would do a little bit earlier, but I'm curious if you could also point out anything about either DJing or producing that you, Tomás of today, would have told Tomás when he was just starting out with this journey. What advice would you give to yourself?
maybe producing takes much longer than you think it does. Like, you have to put in the hours, and honestly, the most growth you're going to see is not just doing a random Saturday, like once a week. It's, you have to put in like consistent, and that's the time when you grow the most. The random Saturday every week, you know what I mean? That like helps you maintain. But if you really want to grow, it's make tracks. Try to make them quick too. I was the slowest producer for a long time, and I mean, I think it's exaggerated when they say this, but they say like the first 100 tracks go straight into the trash. I think 100 is exaggeration.
Yeah.
But maybe the first 100 of those random projects that you start that don't even have a name sometimes, they just have a date.
Yeah.
Maybe the first 100 of those, right? But it's the most important thing in the beginning is just like spend time in the DAW. And so you're going to get frustrated sometimes when things aren't sounding how you want, and it might kind of kill your creativity. Things that I think ended up helping me was just, even in the beginning, just make like random mashups, just because the mashup's going to sound a little bit better. And it's nothing that I put out, but it helped me stay in the DAW and learn the DAW.
Yeah.
And then once you start producing actually your own things, use reference tracks. And try to just have fun with it. I think another good advice, and this is like recent advice that one of my friends told me, and she's like building out her production career, and her mentor was saying, Rachel, have you stopped and just danced to your song? You're overthinking it. You got to stop and just dance to your song. Stand up and just start dancing. If you're not dancing, figure out why you're not dancing, and that's what you got to add to the song. I was like, Rachel, that is such good advice.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
Thanks,
yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah. Shout out Rachel. Redneck Kitty.
So let's go into your creative process. And you're talking about being in the DAW. Walk me through how Tomás makes a track.
Yeah, the reference track I figure out beforehand. Before I even open the DAW, I know which song I kind of want to start that.
Even that, I'm so curious. I want to go into some detail here.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll like be listening on Spotify, and like, I don't know, you listen to the same song a few times, or like, I'm playing it out and I get really good reception from playing this song out from someone else, right?
That's a great,
and I'm like,
great
hey,
indicator.
this is a song that I should reference. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the ways that I made like one of my latest songs too as well. And just, you go in, you put it up. I have like a pretty organized project template now. Put it at the top, and try to I do like the kick and bass first. Try to get that super quick, and then after that, try to figure out the hook. So whether it's a synth or whether it's like a vocal, what is it, the thing that people are gonna gravitate towards? Mind you, the hook will change sometimes. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
It's not permanent.
It's not permanent. I think early on, the big thing is just like try to get that 16 bar loop like pretty quickly. Because the arrangement, with time, you're going to get much better at arrangement. You can arrange pretty quickly, actually. So being able to get that 16 beat loop, the 16 bar loop quickly is super important. And then that first session needs to be like a long session, like a 3 hour minimum, 2 or 3 hour. Like, you can't just do a 30-minute and then, okay, I'm going to pick it up later. Because if you don't get far enough in the track, you'll never finish it. So it's one of those, like, you have to really be in the groove for it. And the other big thing is, I know I'm kind of veering away from the original question, but I think when you're in that creative flow, try to not lose it. So like, I've told Morgan this sometimes. It's like, oh, we had these plans, and they're like soft plans. I'm like, babe, I am in the zone right now. I want to stay here, because if not, I'm going to lose it.
And she's still your fiance, which is a good sign.
Yes.
So hopefully those are during the soft plan days, not the like, this is an anniversary dinner, babe.
No,
like,
exactly. That's why I specified soft plans, not like
right.
not
All
the
right,
hard plans.
Morgan, you heard this, Morgan.
And then she has a good ear too, so she's like, well, let me hear what's going on here, and I'll tell you if you're going in the right direction too. So that does help. But
And she's also supportive too, because she DJs. She gets it.
She
right?
does.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, then once you have that, try to arrange out. Try to save your favorite samples too. Like, you should have this folder where you have all these sounds that you really like. I mean, I use the same ride in like every song.
Yeah.
Just because I found it once and I just really like it, you know. I think in our song we used the same kick across both songs.
Yep.
I'm like, if it works, just keep going.
It's not a bad kick.
Yeah, it's not a bad kick. It's still called Corey's kick in my sample library.
I didn't actually make it, but
Yeah.
just so you know.
And just keep going through the process. And even on those projects that don't actually end up being a song, this was something that someone taught me too. Just like try to stem out some of it and then export your favorite sounds that you made from that. And then that way, maybe it doesn't become a full song, but maybe that snare riser that you made is super cool and you can reuse it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So like, don't think that just because you made a whole time in the project and it didn't become a song that gets released, that it should be time wasted. Like it's growing, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure for producers that are much more professional, making it their whole career, then maybe sometimes it's no longer a learning thing and it's time to actually make music and make money from it. But I think early on, you shouldn't see it as a bad thing that, oh, I gotta finish this and I gotta finish everything just to get released. Like spend time in the DAW, learn your stuff, learn your sound, and then after time you start releasing and really going down that path. It depends where you're on your producing career for sure.
Yeah. Two big takeaways from that I get are, have some template for your setup. So when you open it, it's not just the default 4 tracks and blank slate. That has helped me so much. So much, because I don't have that much time to really hop in and produce stuff. But if I have an idea and I know that like I have a default bass sound, a default synth sound, a default kick that I know I can go into and will certainly work off of it.
Yeah.
But it's already set up, so I can just be creative as soon as I open it.
Yeah.
Has been a game changer for me. And the second one from that is any sounds that I like, save and collect, and you can even pull literally the track from another track and take the audio sample of that and just drop it in somewhere. It's like, those have both been just like, because you not only do you have the sample, but you also, at least for me, I save the audio rack too.
Yeah.
So I'll actually keep the way I've produced it in there too, and then I can manipulate that a little bit, make it a little bit different.
So. Oh yeah. I have a hat rack that I put on like the group of the hi-hats. I have a low end rack which I use for different things. Like try to save the stuff that really works and reuse it.
Yep.
I think the common thing that we're hearing here though is like speed. Like in the beginning, you want to go fast because. Yeah,
even efficiency, really,
it's
right?
It's like efficiency more than speed.
It doesn't. Right? I don't want to sound like technical, but it's like streamline your operations.
Yeah,
like
streamline your process.
Don't waste time setting yourself up. Like just have it ready to go. I don't know. I think it took me about 4 hours to get that set up the way I wanted it, but that was time very well spent, because now it takes me 2 seconds to open it and go.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think it also goes back to some of that early producing advice that I found, like. Early on, when you're making that loop, you shouldn't be basically tweaking all that much. If you're tweaking a sample for 15 minutes and it's like you're in the first hour of your project, you're doing something wrong. Like find another sample, find another sound. It's just not the right sound.
Right.
Like in the beginning, it's very, very minimal processing. It's getting the right sounds. It's sound selection more than anything. Right? Whether that's the preset of the synth, whether you're making the synth yourself, or whether that's a sample, you really shouldn't be tweaking that much early on. And then later on, yes, you're going to tweak, but you're tweaking in reference to the other things that you have. So you're EQing and you're taking this part out of one sound, and because the other sound is clashing there, right? But it's not because the sound itself needed to change. It's more so you're tweaking it in reference to everything else. Right. So yeah, if you're messing with the sound too long, it's probably the wrong sound. Just switch.
Do you have a piece of equipment, hardware or plugin that you are just like, I can't live without this?
So there's different types of plugins, right? I'll give one. Okay, the easy plugin that I think everyone should have, especially if you're making tech house, is Endless Smile by Life, the same people who made like the sausage fattener. That thing is a one knob riser machine. It just like, you very quickly can turn anything into this like kind of rising sound, whether it's the pad or easy tension builder. So that one helps out a bunch. In terms of more like of a utility type of plugin, I really like Shaperbox. So I'll use it. I use Shaperbox for my sidechaining now because it's got like the multi-band sidechaining, but I also use it for creative effects, like making vocal chops. It has this like, I forget what it is, but it's the green one. The yellow one is the sidechaining. The green one is I use for vocal chops. And it helps a bunch. I just re-record stuff and it makes like little spins and little reverses and stuff. And I just record a bunch of the main audio into that. I get these vocal chops and then I use those vocal chops as samples and I just plug and play. That stuff helps a bunch. So we've got one utility, we've got one knob, and then maybe my favorite synth right now is Diva. And it's
Diva.
More melodic and progressive, but it's just everything sounds so good coming out of it.
Also just, it's the most analog sounding, I don't know if it's the most, but it's the most analog sounding synth that I have in my arsenal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just like, it gives like a very, I don't know, just, it has this like more real world feeling to it than maybe like a Serum or even just the operator.
Definitely more than a Serum for sure.
Yeah.
The other one that I'd maybe recommend and do a little special shout out to is like Silence. Silence also has that aspect that it feels real. Like the Moog preset on that just sounds really good.
Nice.
It's a good baseline.
Did you ever have a moment, or has there ever been a moment where you were a bit more discouraged and kind of wanted to just like throw production or even DJing kind of to the wayside a little bit?
I don't know if it's like discouraged or something. I don't think I ever said that I didn't want to do it, but I think there are parts in your life where it's like, okay, it's because of personal life and because of everything else you're doing, like you don't have time for it and you can't do it now. I mean, I think the closest to that once was I got an ear infection and I couldn't hear out of my left ear for like a month. And then I became really grumpy. It was like during COVID times. Yeah, producing went out the window there. And it was kind of hard to restart. And I was also at that point like studying for the GMAT for grad school and all that and doing all this. So it was one of those like, okay, right now I can't, but it was a very targeted, okay, I'm putting this away for a little bit, but doesn't mean that it's forever. I can always come back to it. And I've also found in my life that any times that I do go away from it for too long, whether it's because like work is too much work or whatever's happening, I'm not my best self. So it's a lesson that's been taught a few times for me, but it's something that I need to keep in my life in order for me to be happy and really lead the life that I want to live.
So when you find yourself being really, really busy and occupied by non-music things in your life, how do you make sure you still make time to keep it in your life, to make sure that it's bringing you, that joy and that fulfillment? Because like you said earlier, even consistent reps with production makes the bigger difference over time than that random 2-3 hour Saturday session. So how do you continue to make time for it when you have so much other stuff going on? Yeah,
it's a great question. I don't think I have fully figured it out right now, to be honest. So I do try to plan out if I'm gonna really have like a long production session. I mean, just really plan it out in advance. Okay, so not going out, not doing anything this Saturday. Like I'm gonna spend 10 hours working on this one thing that I really want to work on, or working on a new song. I think the other thing I found is co-producing with people helps a bunch because you get a little bit more accountability. Even like the latest song that we were working on, like it had been on the sideline for a while, and I was like, okay, I think I need to restart and just get in there and do like a 10-hour session so that I can send it back to Corey, and then Corey's gonna be super excited now. And when I send it to you, you're like, oh, when are you gonna send the project? I was like,
I was waiting, man. Like, hurry up, I'm ready. I'm ready
to the project back. I'm ready. So I do think co-producing helps a bunch. It gets you more excited, builds some accountability. I don't think it's the solution for everyone though. I don't think it's like the solving from what people have, from what I've read, from what mentors have said. It's like really just building in like more of a dedicated schedule for it. So if you have a job that's like allows for it, let's say if your job just ends like at 5 p.m., which mine doesn't, but if you are more like that, try to make sure that you build in time for it. And okay, every Monday and Wednesday from 6 to 9, you're going to dedicate to music. And if you get on there and you can't do music because you're just the creativity's not there or anything, do something music adjacent. Organize your music, make some new playlists for the DJ set that you're gonna play, do some sound design and work on stuff like that, or do a mix down for some old project. Like just find something that you gotta do so that you can push it across. That's what I would say. Nice. But I need to take my own advice there a little bit better.
I think it's, a good caveat here is that, as much as we're saying this stuff, life still is life, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's not like it's never going to be perfect, but I think we're both in a similar way, like work in a similar way. It's like if we block it off, on our calendars on a weekly, regular basis, we're more likely to do it. But that doesn't mean it's 100% for sure going to happen, because life is not that rigid.
It's not. It's not. But I think finding a way to trying to schedule it, and even if the schedule has to move sometimes, does help.
Yeah, and something else that you and I have done is either weekly or every other week, or even just monthly, like have a check-in session, like on a Sunday afternoon for 30 minutes, and just kind of share the project update, and just like have a takeaway from that for somebody to work on. And then like you're like, okay, you do this, and then I'll send it to you, and you do that. And when you're collaborating, I really enjoy having those sessions, because it just gives you a framework to where like every time you go in, you're doing something to progress the song. You're not just kind of like treading water.
Exactly. Yeah. And it goes back to kind of that same thing that we said earlier, like just scheduling that time, right? It's hard if you're scheduling that time by yourself. It's an appointment and not a meeting, right?
Yeah.
Because then you have to be fully accountable. But then when we say, okay, it's Saturday morning, or let's get on the Zoom at 11, and bring your coffee, and one of us has a project, and we listen to stuff and we make notes. Okay, you're going to work on this, I'm going to work on that. It just streamlines and get some good next steps into the process.
It's just more fun to do it with other people too. I think.
Is.
So, but yeah, just last couple here, but honestly, it's been so great to have you over. I'm so glad we were able to do this.
Yes.
Tell me, where can our listeners, where can people follow you follow your journey?
Yeah, for sure. I think Instagram's always the best one. So it's Tomás Asesio Music. Post my stuff on SoundCloud. I have a few releases on Spotify. And yeah, in my mixes, I'm putting more of my IDs. So if you want to see those, probably have to listen to the mixes, because until I get like a full proper master, I don't like to release stuff. But that's what I would say.
Nice.
Probably the best way.
Nice. Tomás, thanks so much for your time, man.
Thank you,
Talk
Corey.
to you soon.